Welcome back, everybody, to episode 173 of the Healthy Habit Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dayon, and today we're touching base here with Monique Wellise, representing Natural Factors here. She was on a few episodes back. I highly recommend you can just go to the search bar there at our YouTube channel and type in Monique at the top, and all of our past episodes with Monique will pop up. I highly recommend it. Monique Wellise has been a passionate sales and education leader in the natural products industry for over 20 years. Her background includes training at the American School of Herbalism, extensive work with the integrative medical community, and alliances with some of the industry's most well-reputed brands like Natural Factors. Her work in the health, retail, and professional channels has been an inspiration to her in terms of the positive impact nutrition can have on health and humanity. Monique currently serves as the National Sales Manager for Natural Factors, the U.S. division. Remember, this is a Canadian company, but they do have the U.S. branch here. So welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Good to be back. It has not been very long, has it?
That's right. So I'm excited for this one. We're doing holiday stress, how to manage it. That's the topic of the season right now. So people can start off or finish off 2024 and start off 2025 on the right foot. So What's your intro for this topic before we dive in deeper?
Well, it's a time for celebration and family, but it's also a time for a lot of stressors, social events, entertaining, lots of food and drink, and smack dab in the middle of cold and flu season. So wanted to talk about how to, get through this season feeling your best and not feeling, all bogged down, sluggish, and stressed out.
Absolutely. And today we're going to hit on nutrition, since that's one of your focuses. That's one of your main passions here when it comes to health and wellness, and even lifestyle tips to help us end the year and start next year on a healthy, balanced note. So what would you say is the most important piece then of this puzzle? Where can somebody start to getting everything ready and under control here?
3 words: stable blood sugar.
Okay.
It will
Okay.
support healthy energy, mood. It will curb food cravings for all of the parties many will be going to and all of the stuff that comes into the office, etc.
Right.
And it will also support healthy sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So I bet that wasn't first on people's radars. They might have thought you would have said immune system. But if you don't have good blood sugar, and if that's out of control, you're not going to have a good immune system. You're not going to be able to produce your immune cells and macrophages and everything effectively. So exactly, I couldn't agree anymore. So when it comes to stable blood sugar, what's the best way to support that, or to have some tips, practical tips that somebody can remember easily?
Well, from a dietary perspective, the most important thing to remember is sufficient protein intake. And it's very important to start your day with at least 20 grams of protein. 30 is optimal. And throughout the day, count your protein intake, look at the grams, and make sure you're getting at least 80 grams a day. Quite a bit more than that if you're really active. So I know some say to get your body weight in protein if you're really active, but definitely try and get at least 80 grams.
Right, that might be a stretch, the pound for matching it exactly, I think. But I like that you said 80. 80 is so reasonable.
Doable.
And
it's doable
and healthy, and that's plenty to support good immune system function. So when you say get enough protein, what does that mean? Like, are we talking chicken breast? Because beans and lentils, I think, are underrated, and they're rich in protein. People are avoiding that food group.
They're wonderful. If you do well with beans and lentils, wonderful source of protein. And when you combine a bean and a lentil with something like a brown rice, it makes it a complete protein. A bean by itself is not, but when you combine it with rice, it is. So seeds, pumpkin seeds are great. They're 9 grams for a handful, so that's a really nice snack. Certainly, animal protein has more protein for your buck, I guess, than a lot of other sources. And if you're in a rush, supplementing with a protein, a plant-based protein is an option. Whey protein is an option. Collagen is an option, but it's important to know that collagen isn't a complete protein. However, Natural Factors Total Body Collagen is, because we've added the tryptophan.
The tryptophan,
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then supplements, we got a lot of those at Natural Factors that can really help, that are all evidence-based, that have stood the test of time, and that have actually moved the needle when it comes to blood work. 3-month, 6-month, even yearly blood work panels that they do have an effect if used consistently and properly. So where do you want to start us off with some supplements someone can add into their diet?
Well, we should start off with berberine because there's a
Yeah,
lot of buzz about berberine still. It went really crazy, I think, because of a few TikTok posts, and sales of berberine went through the roof. We've had it in our product portfolio for years, and it is one of the most studied plant compounds, and the body of research on berberine is growing. I mean, it's been used medicinally for thousands of years. The compound berberine, it can come from a variety of plant sources, such as Indian barberry or Oregon grapefruit.
right.
Golden seal is also a source of berberine, but golden seal is on the endangered plant list, so it's best to look for other sources for it. But what it does is that it activates an enzyme that helps regulate how the body uses blood sugar. And it can also inhibit a digestive enzyme called glucosidase, which breaks down our carbohydrates in our food into sugars. And if we have less of that in our digestive systems, then we don't release as many sugars. So it tackles things from many angles, but it is right now best known for its support for healthy blood sugar. It should be noted that 1,000 milligrams a day of berberine hydrochloride is the research supported amount. So make sure when you're looking at a label, look at the suggested use. Usually they're about 500 milligrams per capsule, and you want to get that 1,000 milligram threshold. It's a lot of variety in labels. And the other thing to be really aware of is adulterants. Berberine went crazy in the last couple of years, and tons of new berberines flooded the market, and they're not all berberines. Before berberine was cool, there was actually a group of researchers that tested 15 different berberine supplements. Some were practitioner brands, and some were just in natural food stores. And of the 15 supplements that they tested, and this was published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition, only 6 of the 15 had what they claimed on the label in terms of level of berberine, and some were as low as 30%. So don't just assume that when it says berberine, it is berberine. Make sure that the company is third-party tested.
Thanks for that. No, that's really important. And I like that you said it's found in plants. Berberine's not its own herb. It's not its own plant. It's a component found in, like you said, Oregon grapefruit and other types of plants that you highlighted there. It's a nutrient taken out of plants. They even call it nature's Ozempic now. So we're not saying don't take the Ozempic that your doctor prescribed. It's just hinting at how beneficial it is for similar functions that Ozempic might bring to the table. So I'm going to do a screen share here real quick, Monique, on probably top 3 most common products that the physicians here at Healthy Habit Clinic have prescribed over the last 5-6 years is WellBetX Berberine. So you can start talking about this, and I'll give a quick screen share. Yeah, you can go ahead.
I'm waiting for it to pop up.
Oh, there it is.
So there it is, our WellBetX Berberine. It's been in our product portfolio for many years. The WellBetX line is really, the whole WellBetX line is about blood sugar support.
Yes.
And that 500 milligrams that you see on the front, that is per capsule. And we're actually going to be modifying that label to show the potency per serving, which is 1,000 milligrams. We find that quite a few companies are doing that on the front panel. And I think to the consumer, it looks like this might be less potent. And some have 500 milligrams, but it's just a 1 capsule a day recommendation. And that is not the research supported level. So make sure you're going for that 1,000 milligrams level. Now, we do have also the lipomycel berberine, which is an advanced absorption form.
Okay.
We've done some preliminary research on it, pretty small studies. This form has the most research on it, but we're very excited about the promise of our advanced absorption form.
So per capsule, we're getting 500 milligrams, and you would suggest hitting at least 1,000 for the day, or 1,500's pretty common as well, that I've seen one with each meal if someone's doing 3 meals a day.
Yep, it's easy to remember.
Perfect. And again, this is coming from Berberis vulgaris, the root of that plant. It's an extract to get the berberine HCl. And again, WellBetX, again, this is one of our main products here, one of the best sellers at Healthy Habit for blood sugar and cardiovascular support. Do you want to hit on that for a second? This isn't just for blood sugar, right?
Yeah, supports healthy cholesterol. It also supports healthy digestion. It is
Yeah.
really it's a pleiotropic botanical compound. It really goes at metabolic health from many different angles.
Amazing. Thanks for highlighting the berberine, Monique. And what's next up on the radar then? That's from Natural Factors again. If you have any questions, come into the store here. We're open 7 days a week. Clinic's open Tuesday through Saturday, 5 days a week. But anyone in the staff here will help you get started. WellBetX has other supplements as well, like the PGX. It's not just the berberine. That's their, like Monique just mentioned, that's their blood sugar management line. So what would be next up on the radar that you wanted to highlight? Is it PGX?
PGX is
Let's go.
it's a Natural Factors classic, and it's only available from Natural Factors. It is our
Okay.
own innovation, and
Wow.
actually at
I
our
didn't know that.
headquarters up in Canada, we actually have an obesity center, and one of the advisors on our advisory board up in Canada has done a lot of the research on PGX and uses it widely in the clinic up there. And PGX is fantastic for the holiday season. It is great for blood sugar, also regularity, which can suffer during the holiday seasons. It stands for polyglycoplex, excuse me. It's a patented complex superfiber made up of 100% natural, highly viscous polysaccharides. I mean, it really is combining three soluble fibers. We're using our own innovative technology to produce it, the EnviroSimplex. So it is very unique to the market. But when this soluble fiber is taken with meals, the PGX expands in the stomach over a 30-minute period or longer time frame, which will create a feeling of fullness by absorbing water and filling the stomach while slowing the digestion. And that keeps the blood sugar from rising too high after meals. So it curbs the body's hunger cravings throughout the day. And you can actually take PGX with foods, and it will actually lower the glycemic index of the foods that you're taking. So strategically, you can take it before meals or before you're going to an event and you're not going to have those cravings. Or you can take it with your foods to lower the glycemic index. So if you're going for the cookie, have a capsule of PGX with it. I will say that it's good to take with a lot of water. And with PGX, you're going to get the best results, or I will say the most comfortable experience, if you gradually increase the intake up to the daily dose. That would be my recommendation.
Got it.
But folks can visit pgx.com to see some of the research that has been done on PGX. And probably a lot of your audience is familiar with Dr. Hyman.
Yeah.
And Dr. Hyman has actually said, this is probably a decade ago, if you're going to do one supplement, do PGX.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know Natural Factors is the only company that offers the polyglycoplex. That's really cool. And you're using it at the actual obesity center there that you mentioned. This is coming from the cognac plant, the cognac mannin root. It's a polysaccharide, like you said, water soluble. It helps regulate our appetite. And you'll notice here, folks, if you're looking online here, it's from the WellBetX line as well, just like the berberine. And have you seen over the years people taking this together with berberine, Monique?
Absolutely. Wonderful compliment. Again, going after tackling the healthy blood sugar from multiple angles is a great way to go.
Okay, that's good to know because that's how a lot of people get it. They walk out of the building with both bottles. They take them together. They've been getting really good results. And why is mulberry added into the formula? There's a little bit of mulberry extract in there.
Yeah, that's supportive. It supports blood sugars, but it's also a terrific antioxidant. And we do have PGX and other delivery forms that don't have mulberry, that's not in the WellBetX line, and that's just the red label. And there are soft gels available and also really nice stick packs. And the stick packs, this is tasteless. It expands slowly. You can mix it in your oatmeal to lower the glycemic index of your oatmeal. You can add it to yogurt. Wonderful addition. You can add it to soups to get more fiber in all of your soups. The powder is really versatile. and it makes a really nice pudding as well.
Okay. There we
Yeah.
go. That's the inside tricks, folks. Tips of the trade right here. So, speaking of digestive health, what are some other ways to support GI health? If you don't have good GI health, you can't extract the nutrients out of your food properly that you need to regulate blood sugar and the immune system. And then that can lead us down the path of probiotics and things like deglycerolized licorice root extract. So, tell us about GI health. How does it play a role in all this?
Yeah, well, I mean, digestion is the root of all health, as you say. So, from a daily foundational perspective, make sure you're getting a daily probiotic. But as we age, stomach acid levels typically decline.
Right.
And if it's not addressed, that can lead to a lot of stomach discomfort. So, if stomach acids are declining, betaine hydrochloride is a nice addition to your supplement regimen to take with meal. But if there is that discomfort and it's coming up for you, and I know it can come up with throughout the holiday season a lot, as you said, DGL, it stands for deglycerinated licorice. And that is a processed form of licorice that has the glycerin molecule removed. And you want to remove that molecule because it can lower blood pressure. So the DGL, what it does, it promotes healthy mucosal lining of the stomach without inhibiting the production of stomach acid. Stomach acid is really important, and the pharmaceuticals that we reach for to help with the comfort, they're not helping the stomach acid, and that's just going to lead to long-term problems. So tackling it with something that supports health like DGL is great. It's intended to be chewed before meals. It's quite tasty, and I've looked at some of the other competitors, and it appears that we have the highest levels of DHL, not DHL, my goodness, that's the shipper, DGL that I have seen.
Yeah.
So it's very, very effective. I have a neighbor around the corner that was really suffering from some heartburn, and I gave her a bottle of this, and it's been really helpful for her.
Right. It's a soothing agent, correct? It's like a carminative almost. That would be the technical herbal property. Coats and soothes the stomach.
Yeah.
The
Ideally,
entire
you take it before the meal, so about 20 minutes before the meal, so it coats the stomach.
right.
But it can be taken when you're experiencing a little discomfort as well,
Sure.
and be effective.
Got it. And then so the DGL Natural Factors has its own DGL formula. Is that a chewable? Is it capsules?
It's a chewable.
Okay, perfect. And it just says DGL on the bottle if people come in looking for that.
DGL in big
Yeah.
letters on the bottle. Yeah, it's better as a chewable rather than a
Right.
capsule. You want to get that experience in the mouth, and it's going to work faster if you do a chewable form.
And if I remember correctly, for the customers listening to us right now as they're shopping in the store, that's going to be in our digestive enzyme section, our GI section with ginger as well. And I remember seeing DGLs towards the bottom of the panel there, right here at Healthy Habit Health Foods. DGL from Natural Factors, heartburn, a history of ulcers even potentially. But again, like Monique said, there is a risk of lowering blood pressure too much, but not in this. This one has the licorice taken out, so you don't have to worry about that in this formula. That's typical licorice root extracts, correct?
That's correct. So standard licorice extract does have that caution, but there's no concerns with this because that compound that can lower blood pressure has been removed in DGL.
Beautiful. Tell us about probiotics a little bit. I want to hear your view on it. It's clearly important. There's thousands of papers at this point studying probiotics and how valuable they are for human health and digestion. So where do you want to take us with probiotics, and what should somebody know about this?
Well, it is so hard to avoid a microbiome upset. Stress itself upsets the microbiome. If you've ever been in a course of antibiotics, it upsets the microbiome. Some of the environmental pollutants upset the microbiome. Alcohol can upset it. The wrong foods upset it. So it is such an important part of health. It's the foundation of health. I think last time I was on, I was talking about the relationship between gut health and brain health.
Right.
So if your microbiome is out of balance, you're going to feel more stressed. So tackling holiday stress and everyday stress at the gut level is really important. So depending on age and lifestyle factors, our Ultimate Probiotic family is a wonderful, well-researched option. We have everything from the basic 12-12 all the way up to the critical care, which is going to be more for some really acute discomfort when you're trying to repair. Our 100 billion is really specific to high levels of bacteria that will support health of the small intestine.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so if we can support gut health, we're going to directly help support immune system health. A lot of immune system function starts in the gut. And a lot of people aren't getting enough probiotic rich foods in the diet. Since you love the nutrition aspect, what can we do from a dietary perspective to help with probiotics, prebiotics, and the gut microbiome?
Fermented foods are a wonderful source of
Yeah.
probiotics, and that can be, cabbage, kimchi. I buy a sauerkraut that also has, turmeric and some other herbs in there. I put it in every salad, and yogurts are also a wonderful source of probiotics and fermented foods. And healthy pickles that are fermented properly are really terrific. And
Absolutely.
from asparagus, wonderful,
Okay.
wonderful prebiotic.
Okay. That's a good one. And
Yeah,
then as you're eating more of the sauerkrauts and yogurt, you're also having asparagus to help feed, because the prebiotics the prebiotics feed the probiotics in the gut microbiome so that they can
correct.
thrive and function properly and do what they're supposed to do. And then there's postbiotics as well, which we won't get into today. So again, folks, the DGL by Natural Factors, which is chewable tablets we have here at the store. And then, of course, there's different probiotic options through Natural Factors, depending on where you're at, what's going on in your circumstance, and much more. We can go even deeper on that. So the point is, a takeaway for today here in this 26 minutes with Monique on episode 173 is that gut health is important for blood sugar management and immune system support in this holiday season. So keep that in mind. Very important. So what about tips for managing stress? And we'll finish on this note. You can give us maybe one product highlight. How important
Okay.
is that fitting in with immune system, blood sugar, and gut health?
It's all related.
Yeah,
So the gut health is going to help reduce the stress, but it's stressful. We work, we're shopping, we're having, friends over, probably not getting enough sleep during the holiday season. So get enough sleep, and we might not have time to talk about sleep products.
sure.
But my favorite product of ours to put the brakes on the stress response is our chewable pharma GABAs. GABA is a calming neurotransmitter, and clinical studies show that the natural form of GABA, pharma GABA, it can decrease the brain's stress-related beta waves, and it increases at the same time the production of its alpha waves. And that can result in a calm state without drowsiness. It's a really nice go-to product. We have Expo West. It's a big trade show every year with tens of thousands of people.
Yep.
I hate it because it's just that noise really gets to me.
Mm.
But if I take a couple of Pharma before I go into that stressful event, it just stops that stress response. So that's wonderful to think about when you're like, oh my God, I have all these things going on at once. Just take a couple of Pharma, and because they're chewables, they're really fast acting. 200 milligrams is the clinically studied amount. And I
Yeah.
know there's a lot of GABA products on the shelves and it's really confusing, but you want to look for Pharma GABA. Usually, if it doesn't say it on the front panel, it probably isn't. It isn't the natural form. And you can take a lot less of the Pharma GABA, which has a lot of research behind it, versus the synthetic form, which is just going to be GABA on the front label. So we're actually going to be changing the front panel of this product in the near future as well to reflect the suggested usage, which is 2 of the chewable soft gels. And sometimes in the middle of the night, if my brain is a little bit busy, I'll chew a couple of these, and they're sweetened with xylitol, so I don't have to go brush my teeth afterwards. So they're nice for that as well.
Good, practical, and direct to the point of why we would even need this. It's part of their stress relax line, just like how there's the WellBetX line for blood sugar and cardiovascular support, anti-obesity support. We have the stress relax line right at the top of the bottle. You'll see that here. And then Pharma GABA in big red letters, which is a registered trademark patented version of GABA. You want to look for that ideally, that the GABA you're buying is specifically Pharma GABA, ideally. That has the most evidence behind it. We have the 100 milligram capsule version. There's the 100 milligram chewable version. And then we even have a 250 milligram capsule version of Pharma GABA as well, folks. So thanks for highlighting that, Monique. Really good. And this won't
My
cause that
pleasure.
drowsiness that you said.
No, never.
It shouldn't.
It
Everyone's
shouldn't.
different.
It shouldn't. Everyone's different.
Right.
It shouldn't. Yeah.
Most people shouldn't get that sedative
No.
effect from just pure GABA compared to something like kava.
No.
You know,
I will
or
say though,
melatonin.
if you've never taken GABA, make sure it doesn't. Take it at home. Don't take it when you're going out for a drive. It shouldn't, but everybody's different. So if you're new to GABA, try it. Try it when you're not operating machinery.
Right. Especially if you've never taken it and you're trying to experiment with it and find your right dose. Exactly. So that brings us to the end of our segment here on episode 173 with Monique Wellise. And I highly suggest you go check out 170 as well, 170 with Monique Wellise on the Healthy Habit podcast here. About 3-4 episodes later, we had a nice little back-to-back here. So what would you leave our listeners with here as a nice little recap on holiday stress, managing it, getting it under control?
Yeah. So get your blood sugar in shape. Make sure you're getting enough protein. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, and
Yes.
and do some deep breathing too. Like deep breathing can really do wonders. Just 5 deep belly breaths. If there's too much going on, step away from whatever you're doing and just center yourself.
Couldn't agree
Important
anymore.
stuff.
It's a powerful tool. Most people are shallow breathers their entire life, so you have to consciously tap into that deeper breathing. That's where exercise helps. It almost like we have to take deeper breaths when you exercise, so that's a good tip as well. Well, thanks for your time, Monique. Naturalfactors.com, everybody. Naturalfactors with an S.com. Thanks for your time.
Have a great holiday season.